Coming up, Flagstaff says no to a new hospital. Plus, NAU hockey teams are still waiting for an on-campus rink. The news starts now.
You're watching NAZ Today, Northern Arizona's local news.
Good evening and welcome to NAZ Today. I'm Liam Combs.
And I'm Jordan Vallander. Thanks for tuning in.
Voters in the city of Flagstaff have decided the fate of a billion-dollar development.
NAZ Today's Matt Kienitz is in the studio with more.
Thanks, Jordan. Proposition 480 was the big topic of discussion this election season. Voters were to choose whether to allow Northern Arizona Healthcare, or NAH, to build a new hospital near Fort Tuthill, replacing the longtime facility downtown. The question was put on the ballot by a group of citizens upset over the city council's approval of the new hospital. In the end, this group managed to overturn the decision. Cheers filled the room as the results of Prop 480 were announced. The public voted against the new hospital. A member of Flagstaff Community First says by voting no, the voters showed how passionate they are about Flagstaff.
Our citizens here care about the environment. They care about the rule of law. They're not going to be bullied by outside developers. They're not going to be bullied by big businesses. They love their city.
This June, the Flagstaff City Council voted to approve of Phase 1 zoning of NAH's new hospital. However, citizens quickly gathered signatures in order to bring the plan before voters. Flagstaff Vice Mayor Austin Aslan was against the new hospital, saying we can improve the one we already have. He says that he hopes to work with Northern Arizona Healthcare to do just that.
We have a working, award-winning hospital in the center of town, and it's been there for decades, if not generations. We need to take the blinders off and look at the possibilities of how to modernize in place.
Prop 480 brought up concerns about the current hospital being too small and crowded. Rick Maple with Flagstaff Community First said the issue isn't that there aren't enough beds for patients.
They don't need more beds, they need more staff. And they need to treat their staff well so that they'll stay. And that's the problem. We have a bad administration that doesn't care about their true employee.
Many of the residents in Flagstaff at the event were disappointed with the city council and how they handled the building of the new hospital. Stephen Summer says they did not take the climate into consideration.
The city's goal is to be net zero emissions by 2030, and that any new development proposal has to help the city reach that goal. In making their decision to approve this almost billion-dollar development, the city council totally ignored our regional plan.
Northern Arizona Healthcare says they are disappointed with the vote. In a statement released last night, they say, "We are evaluating alternative locations for a new hospital. It is imperative that we expand as FMC already is out of space for adult patients many days." Matt Kienitz, NAZ Today.
A Kingman woman has died after being trampled by elk in her backyard. The woman was attacked on October 26 and succumbed to her injuries 8 days later, after apparently attempting to feed the animals. This is the first fatality in Arizona to be caused by such an attack. The Arizona Department of Game and Fish strongly advises residents not to feed wildlife.
The annual Veterans Day Parade will be on Saturday at 11 a.m. This year's theme is honoring our Desert Storm and Operation Iraqi Freedom, Operation Enduring Freedom veterans. The city is partnering with the Northern Arizona VA healthcare system and Arizona Public Service. Opening ceremonies will begin at 10:30 a.m. at the intersection Cortez and Union downtown. The Forest Service is just about done with their prescribed burns for the year, but the work doesn't end there. Planting new trees is just as important as burning dry brush on the forest floor. Today I caught up with the people working on this crucial aspect of forest health. Have you ever wondered how one of these pine cones can turn into something so big as one of these trees? Well, a recently burned forest may take hundreds of years in order to regrow into something this size. The Forest Service says they can do it in a fraction of the time. And it takes a village. The Forest Service contracts with local businesses and volunteer groups to collect these pine cones, pick out the seeds, and then ship them to a nursery in Idaho to be sent back as baby trees or seedlings to be planted back into the forest floor. When this fall produced a surplus of pine cones in the high country, the Forest Service jumped on the opportunity to use them for future reforestation projects.
About 5,000 acres over the last 15 years, and as part of that effort of growing the seedlings for planting projects following wildfires, we've depleted a lot of the seed that we have in storage to grow the seedlings for us.
This fall, they collected over 500 bushels of pine cones, which amounts to roughly 1 million seeds to be planted over the next year. But that step of the process has its own challenges. The Forest Service has to make sure these seeds are stored in a cool, dry climate, coordinate crews to plant the seeds, and rely on the monsoon season next year to bring rain.
If any one of those things goes awry, it can lead to less successful plantings than what we hope for, which is typically around 50% survival. We evaluate survival first, third, and fifth year after we stick the trees in the ground, and if we get fifth year survival of 50% or higher, that's usually a pretty successful planting.
The radio fire in 1977 burned through most of the ponderosa pine up here on Mount Eldon. Just this year, the Forest Service finished planting new seedlings and is in the process of monitoring the survival of these baby trees. Silviculturist Chris Curley showed me how it's done.
So you're clearing all the competition, you get a good spot, and then what you do, and then this is where I'd plant the tree, put it in, pack in the soil around it, then take tree shelter, center it over the tree, and then voila.
Reforestation projects like these are crucial for flood mitigation, timber production, and the overall health of the forest, which is why Curley says it's important to pick the right spot to plant.
We want to make sure that they grow free of competition, which is another reason why we use this hodad to kind of clear some of the area around the planting site.
As far as the future, Nabel plans to use these new seedlings to replant some of the areas lost to recent blazes like the pipeline fire in 2021.
Next year we plan to plant about 300 acres and then ramp up a little bit from there to get those 3,000 acres replanted again over a period of the next 5 years or so.
Nabel says there are talks to build a new nursery in the Flagstaff area to grow these seedlings, but for now everything is still being processed in Idaho.
This is Valley Fever Awareness Week in Arizona. Valley fever has been on the rise since 2016. It's caused by a fungus that is found in the soil and spread by inhaling dust. Valley fever season is now underway, lasting until January. Precautions you can take include avoiding blowing dust, wetting the ground when doing any construction or gardening, and staying inside during dust storms.
The NAU D3 hockey team, the Ice Jacks, have been hoping to get a new home on campus as the team currently plays and practices away from school. NAZ Today's Connor Byron met with the coach and the team to talk about the possibility of a new rink being built in the NAU Fieldhouse.
I'm here at J. Lively Ice Arena, where both NAU hockey teams currently practice. However, there have been recent talks about a proposed new ice rink on NAU soil. D3 coach Jacob Smets told me all about how important a new rink would be for the program.
The importance of the rink really can't be understated. So we currently have two teams at Northern Arizona University, two club teams. The issue is the only ice rink that we have in town, which is the one that we're currently standing in, J. Lively Activity Center, operates from 5 a.m. till 12:30 in the morning, pretty much every single day. So practice ice just ultimately isn't available. So without having an additional rink, we can't expand to make more teams. We can't draw in the necessary talent that we really want, trying to compete with a team like ASU that just built a $135 million facility. Without getting that built, NAU runs the risk of falling behind in hockey very, very quickly if we don't get that done.
Freshman Aiden Regal and senior Joshua Peroski also shared with me some challenges that they face at the current rink.
Current challenges are just, it's off campus. It's a hike, and for freshmen that are coming here, a lot of them don't have cars, so they have to try to commute with other people. Another thing is ice time.
Current challenges at this rink right now is definitely ice time. There's a lot of different teams and different organizations that use this rink, and as college students, we're definitely the older guys, so it's late practices on school nights, and it's tough fitting in enough time for us.
Both players also shared with me things that they want to see in the new rink.
Definitely a goal horn. I want to see a goal horn for our games.
Yeah, I think a locker room would be really nice. The locker room here is, it's a locker room, but a nice upgrade in that would be pretty sweet.
Connor Byron, NAZ Today.
For those planning on traveling west this week, the Arizona Department of Transportation is closing the westbound lanes of the I-40 near Ash Fork until Friday at noon, as workers are making road improvements. Drivers will be detoured at exit 144 near Lewis Avenue in Ash Fork.
A Holbrook man faces charges in the murder of his ex-girlfriend. 34-year-old Richard Rodriguez was arrested in California, where he was found with the woman's car. A search turned up the body of 54-year-old Chrissy Romero in the trunk. Holbrook police say Romero had recently filed an order of protection against her boyfriend. Every year, Warner's Nursery hosts a fall festival over the weekend to kick off the season.
Yes, Liam, and it was such a fun time. I got to go to Warner's to see how the event brought together the Flagstaff community. The Fall Fest is a family-friendly event that celebrates the start of fall.
Fall Fest at Warner's is just an event that we put on every year. It's free to the community except for the food, unless you want to buy it. But we put on all kinds of activities. We've got craft time, the petting zoo, lots of fun stuff for the kids to do, pumpkin patch.
Hundreds turned out for the event.
We have about 300 people-ish every year that attend, and that's just what we can track. So I know that the community really does love it.
Local organizations came out and brought along some animals.
The Coconino County 4-H is here, and they have their pet. They have a little petting zoo back there, and they also have some kittens back there for adoption. And they are also doing a bake sale back there. So it's another opportunity for one of our local groups to have an outlet for making money and doing fundraising back there too.
The longtime Flagstaff Nursery hosts events to accommodate every season. For more information, go to warnersnursery.com. Jordan Vallender, NAZ Today. Coming up, a run to help save giraffes. Stay with us.
Below average temperatures coming at you tomorrow. However, we will be seeing a warming trend going into the rest of the week. Stay tuned.
Today I'm going to talk to you about physics. Come on in, girls. Let's go. This is the first rocket to get humans to Mars. Really tall. I'm a rocket structural engineer designing and building parts of the rocket. You are the generation that will be stepping foot on Mars. Do I have a group of astronauts on my hands? Yes. You can become a rocket scientist or whatever else you want to be.
Hey world, I have a quick message. It's about safe driving. All right, let's go. Anytime you're driving, have the seatbelt buckled tight. Both hands on the wheel and your phone out of sight. When not in your hand trying to text somebody back. Because if you do, your car might get smacked. The moral of the story, just put your phone down. The people on the road will stay safe and sound. Put your phone down, put your phone down. People on the road will stay safe and sound. Yeah.
The next 30 seconds can save you a lot of money. Just do your laundry in cold and stick to full loads. Auto-sleep your computers. Plug your gadgets in a power strip and switch it off when you're done. Headed out? Turn back your thermostat by 10 degrees. And drive sensibly. The more energy you save, the more money you save. Find other great tips at energysaver.gov.
The black truck.
Hey, Christina from accounting.
Yeah, hi.
Hey, I used to date a girl named Christina.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and then she dumped me for my best friend. You want to see some photos of them that I took?
I don't.
I thought we talked about this, buddy.
Buzzed and overshared again?
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm gonna call a car.
That's a smart idea.
So yeah, I know, that's why I did it.
Hey, you're gonna get back to the top of the mountain.
Does that mean I'm gonna get back with Christina?
No.
Oh.
No.
Welcome back. The giraffes at Wildlife World Zoo in Litchfield Park got an interesting show Saturday as the animal park hosted their 3rd annual Giraffe Jam 5K.
NAZ Today's Ashley Hayden was at the event.
These gentle giants right here are endangered, and the people at Wildlife World Zoo this morning are running to save them.
3, 2, 1, Giraffe Jam start!
Runners are here to support the nonprofit organization Save Giraffes Now, a foundation dedicated to giraffe conservation.
Our mission is really just like our name, Saving Giraffes Now. We focus a lot on anti-poaching work in various countries to collect snares and put money into the community, while also working with coexistence, learning how to live with the land and these animals, and then doing rescue and rewilding.
And what better way to promote their cause than by letting people admire these creatures from inside the zoo?
We do this event to make sure that we can raise awareness for these animals, and give people a connection to see these amazing animals and drive people to want to conserve and protect them.
With thousands of creatures on the endangered species list, we asked, why giraffes?
Because they're wonderful. They're wonderful, iconic creatures. They're uniquely African.
The world's population of giraffes is silently slipping away. Their population experiencing a decline of 40% over the last 3 decades. Nearly 4 million square miles of historic giraffe habitat has been lost, an area the size of the United States. The time to start saving them is now. Save Giraffes Now says it is unique from other nonprofits, donating 100% of proceeds directly to conservation. This is the 3rd year of the Giraffe Jam, and about $20,000 was raised for the cause this year alone. If you are looking to get involved, visit savegiraffesnow.org. Ashley Hayden, NAZ Today.
Every day across America, excess food is gathered by a network of good people at local food banks, giving hope to millions of children who struggle with hunger. They've earned their wings, and you can too. Together, we can solve child hunger. Support Feeding America and your local food bank at feedingamerica.org.
You wanted to be a teacher when you were little, but things changed. Teaching didn't seem that cool anymore, so you decided to become something else. But what would your 12-year-old self say? Amazing things are happening in teaching, so it's time to put it back on your list. Don't try to convince yourself otherwise. You had it right the first time.
Clean kitchen surfaces, utensils, and hands with soapy water. 1 in 6 Americans will get sick from food poisoning this year. Keep your family safer. Check your steps at foodsafety.gov.
Welcome back to NAZ Today. My name is Michaela Richardson, and I will be your student forecaster on this Wednesday evening. Now, taking a look at our Flagstaff currently, we do have that outside temperature at about 43 degrees with partially cloudy skies, and that barometer reading at about 30.8 inches. We do have a relative humidity of about 32% with those northeastern winds at 6 miles per hour. Now, speaking of northeastern winds, you can see a little bit of the cloud coverage that's being brought in over here, and a little bit of cloud coverage coming from that southwestern region as well, forming a little bit of a diagonal shape across the state. Now, looking at our daily almanac, we did see a high of 54 degrees today with a low of 23, pretty on par with those averages of 55 and 25 respectively. And our records were set at 74 as our high in 1973, and about 10 years ago, our record low of 7 degrees was set in 2011. Our sunrise was at 6:54 this morning, and our sunset was at 5:26. And our precipitation yesterday, no precipitation yesterday, but since January 1st, we have seen above average levels at 23.26 inches. Now, taking a look at our high temperatures for today across northern Arizona, we saw a little bit of a cooling trend around the region. Now, Phoenix for the valley, you saw a temperature that was pretty cold at 79 degrees. Page, you saw a high of 78. Grand Canyon, a high of 67 degrees. Kingman, a high of 61, and Sedona, a high of 67. Now, bringing it back to Flagstaff, our forecast low for tonight is a little bit below freezing at 23 degrees with mostly clear skies, and that sunset, like I mentioned, at 5:26, so just a little bit ago. And if you missed that sunset, don't worry. Tomorrow you will be able to see that sunset at 5:25 p.m. and conversely that sunrise at 6:55 a.m. We will be having that forecast high of 48 degrees that I mentioned earlier in my fastcast, which is a little bit below average for what we want to see in this time of the season. And don't let those sunny skies fool you. I would bring a jacket because it is going to be very brisk outside. Looking tomorrow at our forecast temperatures, we do have a high of 64 with a low of 39 in Sedona, a high of 56 and a low of 33 in Page, a high of 65 and a low of 35 in Kingman. Show Low, you'll be seeing a high of 52 with a low of 26, and Winslow, a high of 59 with a low of 26. Bringing it back to Flagstaff, looking at our Flagstaff Extended, Thursday you'll be seeing that high of 48 with a low of 21, like I mentioned earlier, a high of 53 and a low of 22 on Friday, high of 55 and a low of 24 on Saturday, a high of 56 and a low of 26 on Sunday, and a high of 59 with a low of 29 on Monday. So you can really see that warming trend that I was talking about a little bit earlier in the broadcast. Now, that is all I have for you right now. Stay tuned after the break for sports with Ava Nichols.
Really? Buzz, what's up, man? You left some leaves burning out here.
Yeah, I just came in just for a second.
Come on, man. If it's too hot to touch, it's too hot to leave. You could torch the whole neighborhood.
It's a good point there, Smokey.
9 out of 10 wildfires are caused by humans.
Only you can prevent wildfires.
Looking for these? You drive Buzzed. Could be one very expensive ride.
First, you gotta make bail. Then pay me to get your car back.
Your insurance premiums will go through the roof.
And my legal fees just keep adding up. All told, it could end up costing you $10,000.
Buzzed, busted, and broke. Because buzz driving is drunk driving.
I tell my son, I love you every single day. Now, my dad has never said that to me. Not because he doesn't love me, but because culturally it wasn't comfortable for him. Now that he's a grandfather, he says, I love you to my son every time he sees him. My advice to all the fathers out there, forget the cultural restrictions. They grow up way too fast for you to waste even a single precious moment.
Maybe you can make retirement happen. After all, you made her college years happen. Opening that education savings account when she was little. Spearheading a campus tour. And another, and another, and another, and another. Bam! Deciphering financial aid. She was like, what? And now she's like, you aced planning for college. Now get the tips you need to get on track at aceyourretirement.org.
Welcome back to NAZ Today. My name is Ava Nichols, and I'll be your sports reporter for the night. To start, the Flagstaff Eagles volleyball team finished their regular season first in the Grand Canyon region. Their season came to a close last week in the first round of the state tournament. Sports reporters Hannah Hamilton and Angel Castellano were there. Take a look.
Flagstaff High School volleyball season came to an end in the first round of the 4A state tournament. The Eagles lost 3-1 against the Arcadia Titans. Dropping the first set, the Eagles came back to win the second set 25-19. Head coach Beth Haglund said the match results were controlled on their side of the net.
I feel like we kept our energy high the whole set, that second set. I feel like our passing and ball control was better in the second set, and as a result, so was our offense better.
The Eagles were 11-1 in the Grand Canyon region. Their one loss caused by a forced forfeit. The Eagles have a team acronym every year that they keep secret until the season's end. This year, it was FMUS, meaning Family Makes Us Stronger, which was embraced by the team and community.
I think we did a really good job. I think we made that acronym because that's just like how we act. I think we all love each other like a family. We really bonded this year because we went through a lot together, and I don't know, we just really stuck together like a family would.
The Eagles are saying goodbye to 4 seniors this season. Finishing 8th in 4A, senior Sydney Hennis said strength came from all members of the team.
My biggest takeaway is always just give it your all, and family does make you stronger. Through the beginning, everyone does have their little cliques, but throughout the season, we bonded more as a family and we got that connection, and it definitely made us stronger because we ended up top 8.
Angel Castellano, NAZ Today.
On Monday, Flagstaff's junior setter Macy Mosang was named the 4A Grand Canyon Region Volleyball Player of the Year for her efforts this season. Mosang is a third-year varsity returner for Flagstaff. She played in 96 sets and dished out 738 assists this year. The city of Flagstaff hosted the Big Sky Soccer Tournament this past weekend. The number 4 ranked Lumberjacks made it to the championship Sunday after beating Sacramento State 3-0, and then number 1 ranked Montana in the semifinals 1-0. Ultimately, the Lumberjacks fell to the Idaho Vandals in a closely contested game 2-1, unable to execute offensively. However, NAU players Allie Larson, Joey Lujan, Allison Vilas, and Holly Hunter were all named to the Big Sky All-Tournament team. Lastly, the men's basketball team started their season Monday against the defending national champions. The Lumberjacks fell to the number 6 ranked Yukon Huskies 95-52. Liam Lloyd recorded 13 points, 3 rebounds, and 3 assists in the first half. But after the half, the Lumberjacks were only able to score 22 total points. The Lumberjacks are back in Arizona to take on Grand Canyon University Sunday in Phoenix at 3:30 p.m. That's all I have tonight for Northern Arizona sports. Check out the overtime on Friday at 6:15 for more sports coverage. Now, stick around after the break for your weather recap with Michaela Richardson.
A single ember from a wildfire can travel over a mile. You can't control where it will land, only what happens before it does. Visit fireadapted.org to learn how to protect your community from wildfires.
Well, by the way, Coconino Community College has started hosting their own star parties. The parties consist of telescopes to view the heavens above and educate the public about astronomy. Parties are held once a month, and the next one is planned for November 17th. That's all we have tonight. Make sure to tune in Friday for our sports show, The Overtime. Good night.